Hey, how we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Mash and Drum Whiskey Room. I am back from New York. Super excited to be here, guys. Hope everyone had a great, happy holiday, happy Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, Festivus. I had a wonderful Christmas time with my family out in New York. Also want to say Happy New Year to you all. Again, thanks for everyone stopping by, watching tonight. I'm really excited to be back here and share another great live stream with you guys. So far, we got 26 in the chat, ready to hang out. Tonight, we have an exciting, really cool show. Tonight's special guest is the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, deemed the Bottle of Wow by the Scotch Test Dummies, coming in at 139.4 proof. Oh my goodness, I love it. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to open this and try this with you guys. I'm going to compare it to the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, the B5 118. The only reason why I picked this one is because this one was the highest proof one I had. This one came in at 133.4. What we're also going to be doing tonight, guys, is we're going to take I also have a bottle of the old Elijah Craig small batch, and going to be comparing it with the newer Elijah Craig small batch. So I'm going to do some cool comparisons tonight. Should be a fun show. Also got some whiskey news as usual. And before we get started, let's check out what's going on in the chat, guys. Let's see here. Let me scroll here. Here we go. Got to go to the beginning. We have Dan the Man Trout. How you doing, guys? If you guys have any questions that I'm missing, throw them to Dan. He'll make sure I see it. Carl H., how you doing? He's from Pennsylvania. William Davilar's in the house. Tom R. Scott from My Bourbon Journey. How you doing? Go check out his channel if you haven't yet. Amazing job. Jim Shannon, how you doing, buddy? Happy New Year to you too. Eric Waite is in the house. How you doing, Eric? Guys, just to let you know, I'm going to be doing a live stream with Eric Waite on his channel this Friday. It'll be 8 p.m. my time here, Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be 5 p.m. West Coast time. So tune in for that. We're going to have a lot of fun drinking some Ardbeg. Let's see. Michael Hassett's in the house. How you doing, man? From Tampa. Nice to see you. Brian Brennicky. Welsh Toro's in the house. How you doing? Welsh is hanging in. He's got some sleep deprivation. Nice to see you, man. Freshly Blues in the house. How you doing? Juan Quintanilla, how are you? Luis Ochoa, Moose 76. Let's see. Amy W. S. Nice to see you finally making it live, Amy. Appreciate you being here. Cast Strength is in the house. How you doing, buddy? George Kaplan, how are you? Nice to see you. Super Social Club, Jeremy's in the house. Glad you enjoyed that Four Roses, buddy. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Eric Waite. Whiskey Throttle. He wants to get rid of Jeremy already. How you doing, Whiskey Throttle? Nice to see you, Daniel. Thanks for coming in. DH Silv 2's in the house. He says, I stand firmly by Elijah Craig Barrel Proof doesn't exist. And Jeremy responds to Daniel with a nice eat me. Nice. Love it. Whiskey in the 6. Yo, Rob's in the house. How you doing, buddy? Christine Deems, how are you? Don't you have any moderators? Jeremy is so rude to the chat. Yeah, Dan Trout is my moderator. You can take it up with him. Go Habs in the house. Richie Z, how are you? Catherine Bono. Hey, she just joined. She's from outside of Philly. Thanks for subscribing. Craft Beer Pour. Santa Cruzin in the house. Dram Dude. Everyone coming in. This is awesome, guys. Carlos Ramos, Happy New Year. Steven Sussman. Let's see. Steven Sussman. Brandon Weiss is in the house. Peter White. Dan Willett. Or D. Willett. Everyone coming in. Yeah, so if you guys follow my Instagram, I had an amazing time hunting down some whiskey in New York. Picked up a few too many bottles. But one of this one that I got is a Cream of Kentucky, 11.5 year. This is the new Jim Rutledge bottling, the distillery that he opened. He came out of retirement. If you don't know, Jim Rutledge used to be the master distiller at Four Roses before Brent Elliott took over. Jim Rutledge retired, but I guess retirement didn't really suit him. So he came back out, and this is his first bottling from his new Jim Rutledge distillery. So I am super excited to try this. This is going to be my next review, guys, so hang on to your hats for that one. Also got this baby, the Old Fitz. I'm going to be reviewing this one as well. I absolutely love this stuff. I had a very small pour of it, but trying to find a bottle for this at non-secondary prices was really difficult. I got really lucky in a store. I got it for $100. Can't complain there. Kentucky Owl I got some of the Game of Thrones scotches, the Klein Leash, the Lagavulin. I don't know, just a bunch of stuff. I got this gem. If you guys were on Rob's stream, Whiskey in the Six, you saw that we traded bottles. I sent him the Heritage barrel, the new Jack Daniels, and I sent him the Lot 40 cast. He sent me the Lot 40 cast strength. I am ridiculously excited to try that. He also sent me some really cool samples. He sent me Ball Blair 83, the Port Charlotte MC1 56.3 ABV. I am loving the Bruichladdich stuff, so I can't wait to get into that one. The Long Row Cab Franc, and the Kalila 18-year unpeated at 59.8 ABV. Amazing. And Richie Z, if you're in the house, he sent me the Partridge Heritage barrel finish sample from this year. I believe it's that's the one finished in orange curacao. So a lot of great samples here to open to. What's going on in the chat? Let's see. Would have loved to find. Yeah, I got really lucky finding the old fits. So I also got another bottle of Weller 12. So I got 2 of those now, which is awesome. The Michter's 10, as that I just reviewed. So a lot going on. So guys, before we get started, I wanted to thank my first Patreon supporters. I did start a Patreon. That's where you could find me on the Patreon website. My Patreon supporters so far, part of the, becoming a Patreon. I want to give you guys a shout out. So that would be to Bart Beckman, Christine Deems, Jim Shannon, John Picard, Joshua Splund, Juan Quintanilla, Kenneth Kennelty, Leo James, Scott from My Bourbon Journey, William Davalar, and Dan the Man Trout. Thank you so much for becoming a Patreon. I can't thank you guys enough. I have a lot of stuff planned for 2019, so can't wait to get into it with you guys. So first pour of the night, guys. Let's pour some Elijah Craig, the older bottle small batch. I'm going to get into this one. I love Elijah Craig. Always been one of my favorite go-to bourbons. Elijah, if you guys saw my top 5 go-to bourbons, I did not have Elijah Craig in there only because of the barrel proof. Whenever I drink Elijah Craig now, I usually just go to the barrel proof. So let's pour the newer small batch here. See what we get. Get a nice pour there. So let me know what you guys are sipping on tonight. Let's see. Whiskey Throttle says I would have sent you one for free. Let's see. Looking forward to that Rutledge bottle. He's a great master distiller. Yeah, Welsh, I'm really excited to see that too. Really excited to taste it. Hey, Bird Dog's in the house. How you doing, man? Richie Z, Parker's Heritage Barrel, finished 10-year from 7 years ago. Oh, okay. Good to know, Richie. Awesome. Good, because I wasn't crazy about the orange barrel one anyway. Whiskey Obsessed is in the house. How are you? We got 65 in the chat. This is awesome. All right, so this here is the Elijah Craig small batch from a few years ago. This comes in 94 proof, just like the one today. And this is the newer bottling here as well. We're going to try this one. This just has a great nose, Elijah Craig. I mean, it's just classic bourbon flavors. Caramels, vanillas. I always get a little hint of a cherry note with Elijah Craig, which is just awesome. I'm going to compare the noses here to the old and new, see if there's anything a little bit of a difference here. Wow, I actually think the older bottle has a bit of a deeper nose. Yeah, the older one, the nose is a little bit more intense. Not much, but there's definitely a difference there. The newer bottling is a little bit lighter. Let's see. Noah's Mill for me tonight. Steven Sussman's drinking Noah's Mill. That is peanut butter in a glass, buddy. Love Noah's Mill. Just got my Russell's 2002 today. Wow, Chad. That's awesome, man. Oh, yeah, Scott from My Bourbon Journey. Thanks. Yeah, guys, if you want to... Oh, Bourbon Insane is in the house. What's up? Guys, Bourbon Insane, reach out to me. He's a newer channel on YouTube. Definitely check him out. Check out Whiskey in the Six. Check out Jeremy at Super Social Club. Amazing channel as well. Check out Whiskey Throttle. I love when he does his lives. Eric Waite has an amazing channel. A lot of channels up in here. I love it. Whiskey Obsessed. He's drinking some ECBP A117. Nice. Yeah, so guys, I am up to 973 subscribers. I don't know if you want to call any friends, but if we can, let's try to get to 1,000 tonight, right now. And as I said, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to invite one of my viewers to come on a live show with me. I'm going to send you 5 samples from my whiskey collection. They're all going to be really great stuff, and I'm going to invite you to come on with me in celebration of 1,000 subscribers and sip on some great whiskey as kind of an appreciation. So let's see if we can make it happen tonight, guys. Like I said, I'm up to 973. If you hasn't subscribed yet, go over there, hit the subscribe button. Let's see if I can get to 1,000 tonight. It'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm liking the nose on the older Elijah Craig. It's really good. All right, let's go for a taste, guys. Cheers to the first dram of the night. Happy New Year. Let's get into it. Oh, man. Yeah, for a 94 proof bourbon, Elijah Craig just has a tendency to have this just really incredible mouthfeel to it. Sticks with you on the palate. You know, the barrel proof just kind of accentuates that more. But it's that cherry and rye kick on the end of Elijah Craig that just grabs me and just takes me to places. I love it. It's so good. Let's go for the newer one, see if we can compare a little bit. Let me get some water here. Whiskey Throttle, we are only watching you because you are kicking their ass. Whiskey in the 6. Oh, I got the count. I'm up to 980. Wow, that was fast. That's awesome. Oh, wow! The newer Elijah Craig came in a little bit thinner. The mouthfeel to me wasn't as aggressive as it was on the older bottle. Let me go in here for another one. Let's see. Amy W. Oh, thank you, Amy. Just telling everyone to hit the like button. Is that the old 12-year on the back or the NAS? This is the NAS. So, but yeah, I'm liking the older bottling a little bit more than the newer one. The newer one. Yeah, it's got a slightly deeper flavor profile to it. All those flavors that you love about Elijah Craig are just a little bit, I don't know, just a little bit more pronounced. You know, this one is amazing too, but compared to the other one, that one's coming off just a little bit thinner. Really cool. With Daniel, I will unsubscribe and resub. Does that help? Sure, Daniel, if you know, that could help. Well, I've got 72 in the chat. That's definitely a record for the channel, guys. So, what I want to do, guys, is go through you know, some of the whiskey news that came across from 2018. I saw an article for the top 10 whiskey stories for 2018. So I wanted to review those guys, review them real quick with you guys. I thought they were pretty cool. So, you know, the year that was 2018 was pretty wild for whiskey. So many new things coming out, so many different types of whiskeys, barrel finished, barrel proof, scotches coming out, the Game of Thrones fascination. I mean, it was absolutely endless. Then Pappy released, then BTAC released, and people were going wild. Lotteries and lines, and it just didn't end. It just kept coming and coming and coming. And, you know, for us whiskey heads, it's always great. But there's a few stories here that kind of stuck out, and these were the top 10. So the number 10 whiskey story that came out was Christie's auction house was set to auction an amazing pre-prohibition whiskey collection. I talked about this on my channel. They found a old pre-prohibition whiskey cellar down in some basement. It was full of old whiskeys, and they were going to auction it off. So that was number 10. Number 9 was the New Wild Turkey Long Branch bourbon, goes partial Texan. So this was in April 12th, believe it or not, when it came out. It seems like a long time ago, but Wild Turkey unveiled Long Branch, was a new bourbon that was charcoal filtration, including through Texas mesquite wood. And as everybody knows, it was kind of paired with Matthew McConaughey, who is their director of marketing over at Wild Turkey. Number 8, Diageo releases a horde of Scotch whiskeys tied to Game of Thrones, something we just mentioned. Spirits giant Diageo ties up with HBO, a massive push of new Games of Thrones themed Scotch whiskeys, including a Johnny Walker White Walker, and a lot of different ones. I have a couple of them here. This is the Lagavulin 9. I did do a quick live in New York with this. This is absolutely delicious stuff, especially if you like Lagavulin and peat. It's got such a unique floral note to it than I've tried in any other peated Scotch, just me personally. It just really came off as like a bouquet of different types of floral notes. It's just a beautiful whiskey. Let's see what we got going in the chat here, guys. Bourbon Insane just oh yeah, great. Scott, Bourbon Insane just Eric Waite subscribed twice. Awesome, man. Thank you. Hope it helps you get to. Oh, thanks, Chad. I appreciate that. All right, Rob. Yes, it is. Scott, you're telling me, brother. All right, guys. So let's get back into number 7, the number 7 story of the year. Jack Daniel's gets into experimental Tennessee whiskeys. So the new Jack Daniel's Tennessee Taster selection lineup springboards from the traditional Daniel's whiskey flavor profile to offer some interesting variations on this popular American spirit. I do actually have a bottle of the Tennessee Tasters, namely the Angel Share one, which was, really good. This one, this single heritage, this bottle from Jack Daniel's, a single barrel heritage release. I've been evangelizing about this whiskey since I opened it. It is absolutely unreal. It's anything like I've really ever tried from Jack Daniel's. I think they did an amazing job with it. Let's see. Oh, Ryan Follick, he asks, is the 9-year better than the 8-year? Ryan, I think you talk about the Lagavulin. I think if you like a more of an alcohol punch, I think the 8-year will suit your palate better. The 9-year, to me, does have that alcohol punch, but I think that extra year, it just really rounds it out a lot nicer. There's definitely a little bit more of a floral note to it. I would always recommend the 8. It was is the first peated Scotch I fell in love with. So I kind of have a soft spot for the 8, but the 9 is definitely amazing. A lot more rounded out flavors there, especially those floral notes if you like that. Let's see. Okay, so that was number 7. Let me go to number 6 here. Oh, number 6. Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan releases 3 whiskeys. So Bob Dylan released his Heaven's Door Bourbon, his Heaven's Door Rye, and his Heaven's Door Double Barrel Whiskey. And recently, a Heaven's Door 10-year bourbon just came out. Comes in a really nice case. It's pretty expensive. I haven't tried it yet, but I have seen it on shelves. Don't know how well it's selling, but that was another kind of a big release through 2018. I'm going to grab another quick drink before we finish them out here. Cheers, guys. Again, this is the Elijah Craig. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the older one. It's really good. Here's the newer Elijah Craig. Yeah, the flavor on it is just, I don't know, it's just slightly thinner. And it's not sticking to my palate like the other one did. Very interesting. I don't know. I don't know if you call it maybe new distilling methods, maybe better technology. Sometimes I could add or take away from a whiskey, so not real sure where that came from. Oh, thank you, Amy. I'm at 50 likes. This is awesome. Bourbon Insane. Okay, Mike Snook. I figured your table would fill with the treasure trove you scored this past week. Yeah, Mike. I actually don't have enough room for all of it. I did find some others, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. Let's get back to our list here. We have the number 4 story of the year was the Buffalo Trace 2018 Antique Collection arrives to tease your wallet. As everybody knows, bourbon enthusiasts, whiskey enthusiasts, line up for this Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. It's one of the most coveted collections, of every year. This included an Eagle Rare 17-year-old bourbon now being offered at 101 proof. I've seen that on the secondary as the most expensive one, going even more expensive than William LaRue Weller, going for about $1,000, which is just nuts. Number three store of the year was the Heaven Hill 27-year-old bourbon. Dates back prior to devastating fire. So Heaven Hill 27-year-old bourbon, priced around $400 a bottle, was a rare old Heaven Hill Springs distillery before it was destroyed by fire in 1996. So that was an expensive bottle. I don't know anyone that's had it or has tried it. Let's see, at the Master Drum, what batch is the ECBP? Is that the barrel proof, Eric? I am trying, well, I'm doing the new barrel proof, the newer one. This is the B518, because only I chose this one because it was the highest proof out of all the ones I had. This comes in at 133.4. I am putting it against this beauty, which comes in at a whopping 139.4. So crazy stuff. I really want an old ECBP hazmat. This stuff looks like motor oil. It does look like motor oil. Exactly. I don't think Bob Dylan really has anything to do with the whiskey. It's pretty much marketing, except for the gates that he creates, that he welds and he puts on the front of the bottles. It is a very striking bottle. I will give it that. It does stand out on the shelf. The number two story of the year was the James T. Kirk bourbon. Aims to beam itself into your liquor cabinet. So that was the Star Trek James T. Captain Kirk bourbon. It's a real thing. It's a 10-year-old whiskey that's been distilled in Tennessee and bottled in Kentucky. So another sourced bourbon, 10 years old. I actually heard some pretty mixed reviews about it. I actually heard it was pretty good for what it was. But I did also hear that it was terrible. So until I try it myself, I can't really give you a good review on that one. Mash and Drum, do you know any chance how to find the bottling date on EC12? The bottling date. Not that I know of, buddy. I don't know if anyone else knows in the chat. Actually, Scott from My Bourbon Journey, I think he has a 12. So Scott, do you have any insight on how to find a bottling date on there? I'm not sure if there is one. And the number one, I'll actually show you a picture of this one, guys. The number one story of the year was the Macallan debuts a shockingly old 72-year-old Scotch whiskey for $60,000. That was the number one, and I'm going to show you a picture of it right here. This is what it looked like. The Macallan 72 years old in Lalique Scotch whiskey was originally distilled in the 1940s and is the oldest single malt whiskey ever released by the distillery. Just crazy stuff. So there were your top whiskey stories, guys. Hope you enjoyed that one. One last story I want to get into, guys, real quick, which I just thought was cool. It came across the wire. I don't know if any of you guys saw that. Let's see. Whiskey Obsessed, have you tried? I'm a huge Eagle Rare fan. Brian Brennicky, C917 is also my favorite from the past 2 years. Yeah, there's something about the C batches, Brian. I really love it. Hey, Sean Moore's in the house. How you doing, Swan? Nice to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Let's see. 72 years old. Oak Bomb. Yeah, it could be. Oh, Jeremy just chimed in that Max 72 is available here in Canada for $85,000 Canadian. Holy jeez. That's nuts. Eric Wade, James, Scotty on Star Trek also has a whiskey coming out. I have 2 bottles on pre-order. Wow, so Scotty has a whiskey coming out too from Star Trek. Man, I guess they were drinking a lot on the Enterprise. Holy crap. One other cool story that came across the wire, guys, I wanted to share with you, and only because I was just at this distillery. So Marianne Barnes from the master distiller at Castle and Key, who has some bourbon aging in the warehouse right now. Well, she's Marianne Eves right now. She got married. So she was in the midst of renovating Castle and Key Distillery outside of Versailles, Kentucky. She came across an antique bottle of Old Taylor. So the distillery grounds had originally belonged to Colonel Taylor, you know, the famous Colonel Taylor. Taylor was a leader in industrializing bourbon production during the early 20th century. So after he died in 23, the distillery passed through several owners, but eventually fell into neglect for 40 years. So I have some pictures I want to share with you guys when I was at the distillery. So check these out. This is the facade of the old Taylor Distillery Company. The way they redid it is absolutely amazing. So in 2015, Eves, who's the first female master distiller of Kentucky, bourbon since Prohibition, along with her business partners, began to bring the distillery back into the modern age. But the antique bottle of Old Taylor that they found was originally released in 1917, inspired Marianne Eves, whose background is in chemical engineering. So she used new technology to examine the bourbon's past and try to pull out the recipe. So she says the most dominant flavor in that 1917 bourbon was the butterscotch note. That's something that bourbon aficionados and the dusty hunters recognize about historic Old Taylor bourbon in this rich, creamy, sweet butterscotch note. And the mouthfeel of that particular bottle is really unique. So the taste was something that she wanted to incorporate into Castle and Key. And she's planning on doing that. I'm going to scroll through the pictures as I read you the story, guys. They were all just going on flavor. They had these processes that had been handed down for hundreds of years. So they were just doing things the way the guy before them had, just knowing it would make alcohol. Susan Riegler, a bourbon historian and biologist, explains that in order for a distillate to be considered bourbon, it must meet a few basic requirements. The spirit has to be grain-based. The mash bill, mix of grains, has to be 51% corn, must be aged in new charred oak barrels, and must not be introduced to the barrel at higher than 125 proof. Because of this, the process goes into the still basically the same. The chemistry is the same, but the difference is that the technologies that we have today can alter, some of those old technologies that they were using, way back in the day. If you want to call it technology, it was just the old, the old ways of distilling and creating some of these old dusty flavors that people really love and that are familiar with. It's really an art form. So they looked at these chemical compounds, and from there they were able to figure out what grains he was using and found a yeast strain that has a similar flavor profile. So that's how they went about to construct the recipe based on it loosely. We didn't really want to replicate what he was making exactly, but take those flavor cues from the past and then model their recipe around it. So the bourbon is distilled and currently aging for a minimum of 4 years. So that's what we have to look forward to from Castle and Key, guys. It's I cannot wait to try their stuff. Here's some of the grounds there. These are some of the photos that I came across. They are renovating still a good amount of the building. Let's see here. Oh, Versailles. I'm looking at the chat, guys, while you check this out. Let's see. Yeah, the Castle and Key tour was pretty amazing. I was actually there with Jim Shannon. We had a great time. So I'm going to show you one photo that's going to come up here, guys. So this photo here of the grounds with the, you see kind of those rocks around the dirt area. That's where Marianne Eves is actually going to be cultivating her botanicals for her gin and some other spirits. She's going to be growing them right there on the property. So I think they're going to be making some amazing stuff. I'm really excited to try. I had a couple pictures from inside the warehouse here. The Old Taylor warehouse is absolutely amazing. It's huge. Here's one close-up of the barrel. And here's a close-up of the entire warehouse. Now, I am on one end of it, and I don't know if you guys could see in the photo all the way down the other end. That's how big this place is. This place houses 36,000 barrels of whiskey. 36,000. Right now, they're up to a production point where I think when we were there, they had mentioned they were up to 32 or 33,000 in there, which was absolutely incredible. The amount of whiskey, those tracks that you see there that the barrels are on, those were reintroduced and installed when they redid the distillery. Those did not exist in there when they first redid it. That's what we were told. Pretty amazing operation. And I can't say enough about that experience there. If you guys live near Kentucky or ever have a chance to get over there, I highly, highly recommend checking it out. So that's my news for the night, guys. Really appreciate it. So now it's time to get to the star of the show, guys. Let's get into the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Let me get some fresh glasses here. Here we go. Let's see, everyone. Let's see. Good. Hope you have a great night, everyone. Thanks for coming in, Sean. Appreciate it. Whiskey Obsessed. Those barrels look old as hell. Actually, she said they were all brand new. Whiskey Obsessed. That was an interesting tidbit we got. The barrels look like they were about 60 years old, but they were brand new. But because of all the dust and everything, when they were redoing the roof, restructuring everything, all the dust came down on top of the barrels and makes them look really aged. So I thought that was a really interesting tidbit that she told us. Yeah, glad you guys enjoy that, man. It was a really cool experience. So, all right, guys, it's time for the star of the show. Let's get into the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. I'm gonna pour the 139.4. Oh man, that's in tight there. Woo! Ho 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 ho! That cork will put some hair in your ass. All right. That is deep. It's dark. I'm gonna put the newer Elijah Craig over to the side a little bit here. I really want to focus first on the older Elijah Craig Barrel Proof and see what flavors we get out of here. Deemed the Bottle of Wow by the Scotch Test Dummies, as everybody knows if you guys follow them. It's amazing stuff. So I'm gonna kind of show you the color here, guys. Look how dark that is. I mean, this is like dark fall version maple syrup. As I tilt the glass, the legs on it aren't even falling down. It's just sticking to the glass and staying there. That's crazy. I'm going to let this open up a little bit. Guys, we will have some giveaways tonight. So I'll give you guys a choice. We'll do our first giveaway. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you guys a choice of having a sample of this. I'm going to give away some samples of this tonight. Or if you want, you can have a sample of the Michter's 10, which I just reviewed. So either one of those, you could do a sample. So my first question will be, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I hope you do, what was the last bottle that I purchased that I posted on Instagram when I was in New York? The first one to answer that wins a sample. And while that's coming through, I'm going to grab it. All right, I'm back. All right, let's see here. That's going to be tasty. What do we got? Chad Adams is in the house. How we doing? We got 74 in the chat. Heaven in a bottle. 3 more likes to go. Amy, I love Amy, man. She's on it. Let's see. Nope, nope, nope. So far, no one's got it yet. Oh, the Dan Trout got it. Dan Trout. Dan Trout, don't you have a bottle of this? Let me see. Well, Dan got it, and Rob, Whiskey in the 6. Yeah, Rob, I'll send you a sample of this, Rob, and Dan. That'll be fun. So I'll show you what it is, guys. So this is the last bottle that I got in New York right here. The George T. Stagg 2018. I got an absolutely incredible deal on it. I'm going to be reviewing that soon, and I cannot wait. So that is my the bottle that I got, the last one I posted. So what is Instagram? Oh, Dan Trout, he has one. All right, I'll definitely I'll get a sample out to you, Rob, for Whiskey in the 6 for grabbing this. Awesome. Let's see. Oops, wrong BTAC. Yeah, you almost had it. Oh, Captain Make It Happen. I owe you a sample of Jason. Send mine to someone of your choice. All right, buddy. Thanks, Dan. Very gracious of you. Let me see who the last person was that got it. Let's see. Let's see here. Dan had gotten it, and then Whiskey in the 6 had gotten it. And then Jeremy had gotten it from Sipper Social Club. Looks like I'm sending them some samples, guys. All right. These are going to go to Canada. Awesome, guys. All right. So Let's get into the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, 139.4, as I said, and it's got a cool little story on here on this Barrel Proof one. The newer ones come with the Whiskey of the Year monogram, but the older one has this cool little story here. Named after the father of bourbon, this limited release of Elijah Craig is bottled without chill filtering, preserving the natural flavors produced during the aging process. Since this release had full barrel proof, you can enjoy the bourbon much the same way our master distiller does when he samples straight from the barrel. So, really kind of cool. So let's go on the nose, guys. I don't want to get in too far here. I'm going to go back to the bottom of the chat here, guys, so I can follow along. Hey, Dan Thomas, this is here. Wow, this is... So if any of you guys have been inside of a rick house and smelled the angel share coming out of the barrels, that's exactly what this smells like. This is pure bourbon gold right here. Wow. Oh, man, the proof. Deep, dark brown sugar. Maraschino cherries. There is a deep, dark, roasted nuttiness to it that is just incredible. You got it, Jeremy. Peter White, send my Old Forester 1910 with Rob's sample. Will do, Peter. I'll do that for you. Whoa, this is just... As it's opening up here, the flavors that are kind of popping out here are just insane. Dark maple syrup. But that deep, dark, roasted, almost sugar-coated cherry note is absolutely unreal. Yeah, I'm gonna... D. Willett says to savor this one. I am going to savor every drop of this, so amazing. This is just amazing on the nose. It's everything you want to smell in a bourbon. Those deep, dark, rich flavors. It's crazy. Once you have one of these, it's hard to go back to just like a regular, you know, like a Jim Beam or something, a regular like 90 proof bourbon. There's just so much flavor to be found in here. All right, I'm sipping it. Here we go. Cheers. Holy crap. Dear Lord. Oh. Man, the flavor in that. And the proof in that. You could feel it every way, every inch of the way down your esophagus here. Man, but the flavor in that is absolutely unreal. I'm going to go on for another sip here because the proof on it just kind of lit my palate up. I want to make sure I could pull some flavors out of here. Open it up. Oh my gosh. Dark brown sugar, roasted vanilla beans. That shell on top of a creme brulee, that crunchy, charred, deep vanilla sugar, you know, that sugar that you break before you get into a creme brulee. That cherry note on there is on the end. It's finishing off with that roasted nut flavor. This is just unreal. Holy crap. That is so good. Sip 2 will be great. Yeah, it was. Dan Trout, best ECBP I ever had. Dan, yeah, it's up there, man. It is really, really up there. I have yet to try the hazmat. Oh, love it. Mose Chun, do you ever use water with barrel or cask-proof whiskey? Mose, it depends on how much alcohol I'm getting in the whiskey. That's what I love about the newer Elijah Craig barrel proofs. I feel like I really don't need too much water with it. Excuse me. For me, I like sipping it without water. For me, and this is just from my palate, water brings out a little bit more bitterness in whiskey to me, especially bourbon. And I just don't like that flavor. I like the sweetness and those caramel flavors, I just think water always normally will kill it for me. I don't think it'll really kill this. I'm definitely going to add a little bit of water to it and see what it does. But I'm going to go in for another sip here. Oh, yeah. See, now my palate's getting used to it, and it's staying at that super dark, those dark roasted flavors. It's just everything you love about bourbon. It's like throw them in a pot, cook them down till they're so concentrated, and you can just pour it in a glass. If that's a good enough a description, I hope it is, because that's what you taste. Those deep, dark vanilla beans and that little hint of cherry. You know what the best thing about this pour is the finish. The finish on it is incredible. Yeah, it's hot and you feel it, but the complexity in it, how it goes from sweet, cherry, and then that roasted peanut flavor, that sweet nut flavor, all on the finish is absolutely unreal. It's so good. Let's see. Eric, what I had to add a little whiskey to my whiskey. I always thought Stag Jr. was my favorite semi-available cask strength bourbon until I tried ECBP. So much more rich without the kick in the teeth. Yeah, Dan, I agree with that. I feel like Stag Jr. wants to kick you in the teeth. It really wants to make an impact on what you're tasting and really kind of, you know, kick your ass. But the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is just so much more rounded. It's so much more, you know, developed in flavor to me. The newer Stags have gotten more of a sweeter profile to me personally. Which isn't bad, but you still really taste that alcohol. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, I feel like you can really kind of sit there and enjoy it sip by sip. Okay, so now I'm going to drink the newer Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Now, this is the B. Now, you know, always keep in mind that, you know, for me, A, B, and C, the batches from the last 2 years, they all have unique characteristics. C this year was one of my favorites, but the only reason why I chose the B, like I said, was because it was closer. It was closest to the proof of this one, of the bottle of Wow. So I'm gonna take a sip of water here. All right, guys, somebody update me. Am I up to 1,000 subscribers yet? What am I up to? What's the count? All right. While you guys are checking, let me go in for here. Let me check the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So this is the newer bottle. This is from this year. This came in at 133.4 proof, 66.7% alcohol. This is the B518. So this was the second release this year, released in May of 2018. So. Let's see. So, I don't remember what proof is the new one at. Okay. Dan Tomasis, I'm at 979. So close. 21 more. Call your friends. All right. Let's go in for the newer one here on the nose. Now, comparing noses. Oh, it's night and day. The B518. It's, even though it's 133 proof, it does not sip like one. It is coming in a lot sweeter than I thought it would. A lot sweeter on the nose. This one is just deeper, darker, richer on the nose. Yeah, this one still has a great nose, but this has that roasted peanut cherry flavor that is just killing it right now. So let's go for a sip of the B518. Yeah. Oh. There's that roasted peanut flavor. So you're getting a lot of the same characteristics in this B518. That roasted peanut. Oh, I just got like a licorice flavor on the end. That's interesting. I'm going for another sip of that. Wow. So yeah, so on this one, so these are definitely from, obviously they're both Elijah Craig. Some of those same profiles are definitely in there. I'm getting that creme brulee in here. I'm getting that roasted peanut. There's a little bit of a licorice note there on the end that I'm getting, which is really, really good, really delicious. But the old bottle of Wow is just, it's just wow. It's these flavors are sweeter, they're deep, they're dark. It's amazing. But this 139.4 is probably the best Elijah Craig Barrel Proof I've had. It is unreal. The flavor on it is just, it just sticks, and it just keeps getting better over time. It's amazing. Oh. It's that creme brulee flavor, man. And the finish. And it just stays. It just stays with you. This is a bottle that I feel like I can pour just a tiny bit and really savor over the course of time. And I cannot wait. It's going to be great. What do we got in the chat here, guys? I can't believe how effing good this Jack is. Oh, Rob, you opened the Jack? Dude, how good is the Jack Daniels, the Heritage Barrel? I told you. It is so good. I was so surprised by it. It is a limited release. It's only available in select states. It's absolutely unreal. It's so good. Mike Snook, Batch 11 Stag Junior is the best release, I believe. Yeah, that's what people say. Batch 11 was the best one. This Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, I believe, is a Batch 11. This one, this particular, the 139.4 as well, which is kind of cool. Most Chun, maybe a high rye mash bill. That's what I always think when you get the licorice note to it, but I don't get it on every Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So, Jim Shannon, just grab the dram of the B518. It is really good, but the C918 tops it for sure. I agree, Jim. The C918 is probably the closest Elijah Craig Barrel Proof that I've tasted that goes to this. So if you guys have a C918, or if you haven't gotten it yet and you want to taste something pretty close to this, grab it. Let's see. Mike Snook, haven't been able to get a Batch 11. Wells Toro enjoyed the Stag Junior I had as much. Oh, good, yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pour a little bit more of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof here, the bottle of Wow. I'm going to pour a little bit more here. And I just want to, there's some good amount in there. I want to add some water to it and see what happens. So, have a little bit of water. This is the, if you guys have never seen this yet, I have the, this is the New Orleans glass that's coated in black. It's the, I call it Batman's whiskey glass. It's pretty cool. So let's throw this in here a little bit, see what it does. Gonna let that commingle in here. All right. Let's see if it did anything to the nose, guys. Nope, the nose is still punching you in the face. It's awesome. If anything, it definitely made it sweeter, but it didn't make it that bittersweet flavor that you sometimes get on the nose when you add water to it. It's really opening up the caramel flavors. The caramel was almost in the background to that vanilla custard flavor to it. Now the caramel is really coming through. That creme brulee, that torch sugar top is just, it's something that was more in the background on the nose in the beginning. Now it's just really coming through. Wow. Jeremy says the JD Heritage is real nice. Yeah, it's a great whiskey, man. I was super surprised about it this year. I did not expect it to be that good. For those of you that don't know, the Heritage Barrel, Jack Daniels, they did a low entry proof and they did some extra toasting to the barrels. Something that Michter's is famous for. And I actually enjoyed that more than the Michter's toasted bourbon that was released. So the Jack Daniels Heritage Barrel is the real deal. Yeah, it really didn't change. The only thing it really did to the nose was it brought forth the more of a caramelly butterscotch flavor. So definitely improved the nose, I think, a little bit. So let's go for a taste with the water. Cheers, everybody. Wow, so the water actually, I think the proof is high enough that the water, it doesn't really affect it too much. It doesn't change or make it too bitter. it really does what water's supposed to do to a high proof bourbon. It opens it up. This one I'm getting a lot more sweetness in it now. Before the water, it was dark, it was rich, it was creamy, it was cherry forward, it had that nice roasted nut flavor to it, that creme brulee. But now you add the water to it, it's kind of stretching it out now. It's not as mouth coating, obviously, because you're losing some of that with some of the water, but the amount of sweetness now that's coming through, it really opened up those caramel butterscotch flavors. It's just really great. Wow, that's great. Oh. Oh, man. So now the roasted peanut finish has kind of dwindled away, and now it's like a, what do you call those candies? The yellow wrapper. Werther's. The Werther's original candy, those butterscotch candies. That's what the finish has become after adding a little water. It's absolutely unreal. It's insane. It is so good. Probably the best bottle of Elijah Craig I've had. And I thought the C918 was the best one I've ever had. This one is just unreal. It's so good. William Davilar. I'm up to 980. Awesome. I need 20 more. This is great. This is great. Whiskey in the Six. Jim Shannon. JD Heritage available in Kentucky. Jim, it is. It was available in Kentucky. That was one of the states, I believe. Indiana, Tennessee. I think Chicago, Illinois, and a couple of others. You can look it up online. Whiskey in the Six. It is weird that I want to go to Tennessee more than Kentucky. Might be a little more. Belle Meade in Tennessee is a great spot. They make some great bourbons there. If you guys saw my review on the Belle Meade Cask Strength, probably one of the best bourbons for the money. Definitely. Let's see, better or without, I'll say better with or without water. Always feel like I'm sinning if I add water to barrel proof. Bourbon and say no. I think, let's see. Man, this one's tough because both ways it's really delicious. It is delicious with and without water. You can't lose either way. If you like a more caramel, butterscotchy forward bourbon, then add water. If you want deeper, darker cherry, maybe a roasted nut flavor, then without water is the way to go. That's the best I can kind of describe it. Let's see. Whiskey in the Six is talking bonkers right now. He's drinking a lot of that Heritage barrel, isn't he? Let's see. Yes. Belle Meade is produced at Bardstown Bourbon Company. Yes, Jim. They do source, but I think they're another distiller, Belle Meade, that's has started distilling their own juice. It's just not ready yet. We see that a lot from distillers that come in and start sourcing and doing, while they're waiting for their own distillate to be, to be ready. We're seeing that with Michter's. We're seeing that with Belle Meade. We're seeing that with a host of other great whiskey producers. Especially Kentucky, Tennessee. It's really, really. I really love that they can source and do that stuff. And I know a lot of people hold it against certain companies to source different whiskeys. When I was doing the research on Michter's before I did Michter's 10, there was a lot of, flack towards Michter's for, sourcing at first. But anything about Michter's that I've tried has been really, really quality whiskey. And yeah, their prices on their bottles may be a little high for some points, but I think what you're getting back in the bottles for is quality. And remember, they're putting everything in the barrel at a lower entry proof, and they're toasting, which actually costs more to do for the distillery. So I think that plays a specific part into it. People don't really think in terms of, they're putting a lower entry proof and whatever. It's still expensive, but it costs more for the distillery to do that. So I do think they're doing that to smooth out the flavor profile. So I can't knock Michter's. I definitely love what they're doing. Joshua Feder, I feel like you were more wow without water. Yeah, I was. The water is very good. Definitely if you like more caramel. It definitely has a really good flavor profile with the water. But yeah, without the water, I think it's also the proof. When it's proofed down a little bit, you lose a little bit. But even with the water, it's one of the few bourbons, one of the few barrel-proof bourbons that's unreal too with water. So I can't really hold you in regard there. William Davilar, High West. Yeah, High West they're also, they've been sourcing and they're creating their own distillate for the first time this year in the Midwinter's High West Dram. They included some of their own distillate. I thought it tasted great. Just because it's sourced doesn't make it bad. I haven't had a Michter's. I don't like it. Yeah, true. The word is King of Kentucky is from Barton. Yes, it is from Barton. Thanks, Jim. Let's see. Whiskey Throttle, Tennessee. We're 66 watching, 55 likes. Thanks, man. Thanks for calling out, Daniel. What's your take on Barrel Bourbon and their independent bottling style? Just picked up their limited 15-year release. All right, so Dan, I have some thoughts on Barrel Bourbon. I think as far as what they're doing experimentally and blending, their infinite barrel project, their cask strengths, their special releases that they come out with, I've had a couple that are really exceptional, but I've had more ones that are, meh compared to the exceptional ones. I think if you do your research, Barrel puts out some amazing product, especially their cask strength bourbons. I really like them a lot. I've heard amazing things about the 15. It was named Whiskey of the Year from Fred Minnick. He called it out. So I haven't gotten a chance to try it, but I heard it's amazing. But I don't know. And, it's tough. I think they're getting better on pricing. They used to be about $90, $100 a bottle, which is a lot to ask. But, in today's market, a lot of these bourbons are hitting the market right off the gate, $100, $110, $80, $90. You got to kind of stay competitive in that aspect. But, I really feel like that Barrel is doing some really interesting things. And I'm really looking forward to hopefully one day trying that 15. They worked on created a rum that's coming out soon too, called Dovetail. Their previous release, the Infinite Barrel Project, was I thought was a really interesting, unique flavor profile. Really liked it. So I really do like Barrel. I mean, I know they're sourcing, but I think what they're doing, even if you kind of compare it to Scotch, where John Glazer at Compass Box is sourcing whiskeys from all over Scotland. He's a master blender, and why can't you do that with bourbon too? People are, knocking Compass Box sometimes with the prices that they charge. But, a good whiskey is a good whiskey. So, yeah, sometimes you're going to have to pay more for it. It really depends on your wallet and what you like to drink. Let's see. Eric Waite. Some bourbons have source new make. All scotches are made with source barrels that contribute 70% of their flavor. Correct, Eric. So you can even knock, scotches for doing that. They're sourcing barrels from Kentucky. They're aging their scotches in used bourbon barrels. So, it all kind of comes full circle when you think about it. And with all the different distilleries opening up, it really just means more whiskey for all of us. Let's see. I've kind of been thinking the same about Barrel. Some amazing releases and some not so much. When I crack open the 15, I'm happy to send you a sample. Oh, that'd be really generous, Dan. I appreciate that. The Barrel number 11 was just okay. Nothing special. Let me see here. I saw a question from... Oh, that was Eric. Okay. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Let's do my second giveaway of the night here. Let's see. Let's see here. What was a good question I could ask? All right, we'll see if you guys were just paying attention here. So I had mentioned the number 1 story in whiskey, which was the Macallan debuts a shockingly 72-year-old Scotch whiskey. What was the price tag on it? First one to answer will get a dram of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, or if they want, I'll send you the Michter's 10. Let's see. So first on my chat, Numenium. Numenium got it at $60,000. Yep. Numenium is a multiple winner in my channel. He must have the fastest chat in the West. Nice job. Nice job, Numenium. I'm trying to think of some other bottles that I got coming up, guys. Just some quick announcements. We're coming on. Oh, it's 10 o'clock already. Man, time flies when you're drinking Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. One thing I did want to mention, Friday, I'm not releasing a review. My next review will be Monday next week. I'm filming my best bourbons of 2018 coming up. Let's see, I'm going to be filming tomorrow and Friday for my best bourbon of 2018. There could be some surprises in there. I'm looking forward to doing it. I'm just doing some different camera things with the video, trying to make it really a really great video that ran out the end of the year. Even though we're already into 2019, there was a couple of other whiskeys I wanted to try before I called out my 2018. I know I started my channel way back in August, September. I wanted to make sure my criteria for making the best of 2018 were, I did not include any samples that I received this year in my best of 2018. Just because I don't feel like I could really give it a fair spot if I didn't enjoy or try the bottle, the whole year or at least half the year. I wanted to make sure. I mean, I tried some amazing whiskeys. Dan Trout, Scott, we were on the channel. Dan sent us Old Forester Birthday Bourbon, Michter's Toasted. Michter's Toasted Barrel Finish. Some amazing whiskeys. But these were samples, and I don't feel like I could, really honestly say, oh, this was my best bourbon of 2018 if I didn't give it a fair shot and actually sip on it, for a couple months, or at least till the end of the year. So all of my selections included bourbons that I've sipped on all year round, and I'm going to be working on that, and I'm going to release that Saturday. So Saturday, look for my best bourbon of 2018 video. I'm also going to throw in a couple more awards in there. You'll see my surprise whiskey of the year, the one that I did not expect to be as great as it was, and also my my craft distillery of the year. I have one definitely that I'm putting ahead. There's a couple of others I'm going to call out too, but look for that video on Saturday. Really excited to get into that one. Should be awesome. William Davlar, amazing job, Jason, for 5 months. Yeah, thank you so much. Jim Shannon, that's fair. Really need to revisit a bottle many times to really know it. Yeah, that's the point, Jim. I really wanted to include bourbons in there that I sipped on, for the last few months and really got to enjoy. So 2019, I should have a slew of whiskeys to try to choose from, so it'll probably be a lot more difficult for me to choose. But I just want to call out one more time, again, Friday night, I'm going to be on Eric Waite's channel, so check out Eric Waite. We're going to be drinking some Ardbeg 10, and this guy right here that I picked up, which is the Ardbeg Korvjekken. I have come to find that Lagavulin and Ardbeg are some of my favorite scotches I've been sipping on. Somehow I've become somewhat of a peat head as well, which is very strange. I'm really loving the complexities of it and the flavors you could find behind the peat. Still bourbon will always be my first love, but every now and then that peated scotch is just really hits the spot. So yeah, so with that, let's see. Great job tonight. Still waiting in my New Riff single barrel bottles. Oh, Numenium is waiting for some single barrel bottles. Okay. Joshua Fetter, haven't had the Korvjekken yet. Yeah, me either. I'm really psyched about it. So they're finished in French limousine barrels, and it's a pretty high proof on the Korvjekken. This one comes in at 57.1. So should be a fun show. Going to be talking some whiskey with Eric. Going to be doing some fun stuff. Look for my best of 2018, my best bourbon 2018 this Saturday. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. You can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, as you see below. If you haven't yet, please think about supporting me on Patreon. I really appreciate it. Got a lot of plans. We have interviews with some master distillers coming up, interviews with a couple of authors, some great books. So I have a lot of stuff planned, and I really appreciate you guys stopping by. And if I haven't said it already, as I always say, it is not about the bourbon or not about the whiskey. It is the people you share it with. I'm going to drink some more of this, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers. Thanks for coming around, and appreciate it. Take care.